The Late Night Legends podcast is meant for an adult audience only. It may contain sexually oriented content. Content may not be suitable for sensitive listeners. Please be aware of your surroundings. Listener discretion is advised. Watch out.
Late Night Legends Internet Podcast and Radio Show. My name is Frank. I'm back, and I'm here with my awesome co-hosts, Kay, Charlie, and Joan. And what a pleasure it is to be back with y'all. I'm excited.
Yeah,
thank you.
Welcome back.
Took a really nice vacation, and I want to thank y'all for holding it down, especially the three of you, because you've been doing the majority of the holding it down. I'm kind of happy like Jesse and James are not here because I would not be thanking them as much. But Charlie, special thank you for editing. Joan, special thank you for team leading. Kay, special thank you for being here. And also, special thank you to Justin Moore, who did a kick-ass job when he was on covering things for Oban. That was a nice show. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
And we've got an exciting fall coming up. Gonna have everybody coming back in the fold. James, Jesse, maybe some Shayna will be popping in. But huge announcement. We're actually going to be hiring 2 more people. So I think this is the first actual show we're announcing it on air. If you are interested in joining our team, currently for the sake of diversity, we're looking for demographically someone that lives kind of in the Southwest or in the Southern United States. If that's you, you like our show, you like what we do, feel free to reach out, and we will see if we can start a conversation. So just let us know why you want to be part of the show, what you like, give us some feedback if you got any, and we'll kind of take it from there. Anybody else have announcements?
If you want to see more of Justin's face, you can check out our sister podcast tomorrow night, where he will be guest starring on Family Feud. If you want to think of us still as good people, then don't check out that.
It's going to be a raunchy show.
It will be.
I'm the person that's coming up with questions there, and it's going to be pretty filthy.
My stuff and plugged it into the monitor.
Mom and Dad are fighting.
Mom and Dad are fighting. It's fine. We're good. Let's just...
Corn chips. Oh,
what are we talking about tonight, Frank?
Not tonight.
We're talking about corn. We're talking about corn chips and the Edgefield Multnomah County Poor House. It's Charlie's topic.
Multnomah County Poor Farm.
We'll let Charlie take us in because I have zero idea.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Charlie.
All right. So, if you're from Oregon or if you've ever been to Portland, you may have heard of Edgefield. Edgefield is this. So it's part of this company called McMenamins, and what they do is they buy up historic properties, they restore them, they preserve them, and then they kind of give them their own little twist, and they make them into hotels and restaurants and concert venues and all this kind of stuff. So Edgefield's a big popular tourist attraction here in Portland, and but it has a more than 100-year history that goes back to Victorian times almost, and the era when Portland was rapidly growing. And there was a need for places to put people who couldn't pay their bills, essentially. So before Edgefield was built, there was a Multnomah County Poor House, a workhouse. And this is like, we're talking about Victorian era when, you know, you'd send the poor to the workhouses. They'd have to work in these awful conditions, things like that. So after the 1905 World's Fair that was here in Portland, well, in Portland, not in Portland, but close enough, the population, you know, people started to see, oh, this is a cool city. And the population more than doubled in 6 years, from 50,000 to 100,000.
Wow.
And so they're like, we're running out of space in these workhouses. So they were looking around, and out in the farmland to the east of Portland, they found this area. It was previously called the Hillside Farm, and they said, great, we'll buy it. And for the cost of about $100,000 then, which is about $3 million now or something like that, they built this farm, and they housed what was it, about 300 people? Yeah, so it's about 300 acres, and it's this huge farm. And they, you know, if you go there now, there's orchards, there's grapevines, there's all kinds of beautiful flowering plants, and blackberry bushes. Blackberry bushes are the big one.
That's my favorite.
They're just all over the place, and they, you know, it looks really nice now. But so they built this place, and they started taking in residents. Originally, residents were segregated, so women on the second floor, men on the first floor. They had to dine separately. They couldn't dance. They would have like one event a month where they would like get to intermingle, but they would work out in the fields. Anybody who would work there. And there's, you know, it's all these old buildings. They had an ice house where they had, this is before refrigeration, so they just kept giant blocks of ice. That's now its own little bar called the Ice House. They had the main manor house, and then over time they added more and more things. So let me get back to my notes because I'm just freeballing here.
It clicked in for me that when my mom used to say you're going to send me to the poor house, I didn't know that was actually a place. I thought it was just an expression, but it makes sense now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So residents included a diverse array of people: sea captains, ministers, musicians, loggers, former slaves. A nephew of Confederate General Stonewall Jackson actually was there.
Oh.
Various ethnic backgrounds and religions, including Germans, Italians, Japanese, Chinese, Native Americans, African Americans. They all lived in one place, and for a long time that was how it worked. They produced enough food to support themselves, and they would also, you know, have excess food, so they would send that to the county hospital and jail. They had the basement floor. They actually turned into a marketplace, and they would let people in, and you could buy canned fruits, vegetables, all that kind of thing. Outside labor was occasionally brought in, but it was mostly all the inmates.
Charlie, I'm taking some mental notes here. Really quick question. So you're telling me it's about 300 people were housed there. It's 300 acres. It's about an acre per person, and it's got sustainable food supply. Where's the downside to this? Can I move there now?
Well, the downside is as more people moved into Portland, as the city grew, more people were poor. So
Frank also likes being segregated from women. He totally forgot that portion of it.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And
you're not once a month you get to touch a lady for a little bit to one song.
What the fuck? I don't even know what that means.
They had a dance once a month. Right. He said that.
Yes.
No, I know, but I don't know. All right. I do like blackberries, so I'll go along with it.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is like the whole property was 300 acres. A lot of it was and still is covered by blackberries, so it's not all farmland, and a lot of that is also the buildings. So, so you know, opened in 1911, about 300 people, and just more and more kept coming. And then, of course, when the market crashed during the Great Depression, this population doubled. So at this point, you know, where it was segregated men and women, they decided, well, we can't do that anymore because we don't have enough room. So they're just jamming everybody in there. There's 600 people, and that's when they were really trying to get the marketplace downstairs going. So they had unemployed craftsmen and artisans. There was people like what's the word I'm looking for? Someone who works with iron worker, I guess.
Blacksmith.
Ironsmith?
Blacksmith.
Yeah, or blacksmith, yeah.
Okay.
They they would do decorative things, and you can still see some of his pieces around Portland actually. I think I can't remember which one, but there's a McMenamins location where they have like an original fence that he did put up, which is kind of interesting. So obviously, as more people are coming in and all these unfortunates, and also you had to deal with all the normal things of people. I mean, there's disease, there's interpersonal problems and things like this. Through World War II, after World War II, I should say, the population decreased because people were more economically good. I guess they were doing better economically after in the post-war boom. So it kind of transferred. Yes, Frank.
Sorry, just a quick question. I'm curious. So you go to the hold on. The real question. So you go to the poorhouse because you're poor to work and do some labor. So what you're saying though is that you can work your way out. You can
eventually
somehow.
Yes.
Okay, that was my question. Come on,
Yeah.
Joan. Come on.
No, the America doesn't like people staying poor.
That's
for
not
very
true.
long.
America loves poor people. What you talking about?
When they have to give them resources to help them, so any
Right.
chance they can push them out,
So
they
that's
will.
the other point, is that this is all pre-Medicare, Medicaid. This is all pre like any kind of welfare. That it was all just like you have nowhere else to go. So that's what's interesting, is that after World War II, some people couldn't leave. It was besides the poorhouse, it was also kind of a hospital, retirement home, nursing home.
Oh, wow.
Especially into the 50s and 60s, there's people who just never left and they just live there for the rest of their lives. So I want to take a quick step back here and we're going to talk about arguably America's first female police officer, Lola Baldwin. So Lola Baldwin, she's a big figure in this era of kind of like from the 10s to the 20s in Portland, and she's part of this movement of clean living, or the temperance movement. These kind of Victorian ideals.
You
She
said
didn't-
clean living, and I was like, an MLM,
Yeah, that-
girly? Girl
yeah.
boss? Hi, hun?
That definitely means something different now, absolutely. But,
Yeah.
but she was very against drinking. She was very against dancing. She was very against gambling. And so during the World's Fair, actually, she volunteered to help women at risk, single women, things like this, unwed mothers. And by help, what she would do is kind of just ship them off. She started another building at Edgefield and just ship them off over there. So she'd send like prostitutes and things to just go live on the farm and then get better, quote unquote, and then they get to leave, hopefully.
Reform them.
Yes, exactly. So but again, going back to McMenamins, if you know Lola's room in the Crystal Ballroom area, it's named after her. It's a brewery and a dance hall, ironically. But so
Is it ironic, or is it a fuck you?
maybe a little bit of both. There's a
Oh,
big.
okay.
They did a big portrait
It
of
can
her
be
on
both.
one of the beer.
Well, that's ironic too,
stills.
because she also didn't like
Is that
drinking.
beer kettle. Yeah, but it paid anyway. They respect her, I guess. They tongue in cheek kind of. Anyway, so
Okay.
she starts this women's protection division of the Portland Police, and again, she might have been the first female police officer. There's a couple other that lay claim to that, but she was actually contracted, and she was in her 40s when she got hired too. So, respect to Lola Baldwin. But anyway, so they start this extra thing, this extra building on the property of Edgefield, that's specifically for unwed mothers and their kids. And then they also have a small building that's, I guess you could call it early psychiatric care, for children specifically. So children with mental health issues would also be shipped out there. So the inmates that are able to work. They're providing for all these people, but everybody's making use of it. And people would work in the laundry rooms, and there's always work to be done on this farm and things like that. So okay, skipping back ahead, Depression happens, the population doubles, then World War II. A lot of people from Edgefield got drafted and sent away, and then came back hopefully with the GI Bill. They did well, we don't know, but the population is decreasing, and the only people that are left really are now staff that have to be brought in to care for some of these ailing people, and just people that can't leave for whatever reason or won't leave. They're just old. So and then in the 70s and 80s, the population is so small that in 1982 they decide we have to close it. It's like less than 100 residents. So the last residents were relocated, and it just was empty, abandoned. And it's pretty close to high school, so high school kids being what they are, they just start breaking in, vandalizing this place, and they're doing all kinds of fun stuff, I'm sure. But the whole place falls into disrepair, and there were plans made to demolish it, but the Historical Society of Troutdale, which is like the small town that Edgefield is in, they band together, they preserve it, but really all they do is just stop people from going on it, but that's all they can do. So it's not till the 90s when the McMenamin brothers, Mike and Brian, decide to they tour it, and they decide this is what we want to do. We want to buy this and make it into a new location. So okay, here's where it kind of starts to get a little spooky. I mean, not starts, but we're gonna go back a little bit. But this is the overview. But as the brothers are touring the grounds, it's completely overgrown with blackberry bushes at this point, and they're just kind of walking around through a little like a tunnel, a trail, game trail of the blackberries, and this black rabbit jumps out of the bush and just looks at them, and they're just like amazed, transfixed, and then it jumps across the trail down a rabbit hole, and they immediately thought, like, that's what we want to do with our company, with our locations. It's this kind of down the rabbit hole idea, where when you're in a McMenamins, it's a whole new world, that kind of thing. So there's always something kind of spooky about that, but nowadays it's this beautiful location. They have golf courses, they host amazing concerts, they have food, and it's a hotel and a resort spa and all that kind of thing. So, but as they're touring this facility that's been in disrepair, there's all this crazy graffitis, and they've preserved some. So right next to the front door, someone's tried to draw a pentagram. It's not really a pentagram, but they tried to, and they've kept that. It's pretty faded now, but you can still see it there today. But as they're going through the main building, the specific room is 215. 215, they said, was the creepiest room, and they both got chills as they went in there. Inside was a big pentagram on the floor, drawn in the blood of birds. Bird blood. Yeah. And written on the wall is "Hail Satan." But again, being high schoolers, they couldn't spell Satan right, so it does say "Hail Satin."
Oh. Satin is a very nice fabric. We accept.
So then as they keep going around, there's this cat. There's a feral cat that they notice. Okay. And this cat is awful. It is, talk about jerk cats. This cat yowls at everybody and attacks people, but it catches all the rats. It's a great feral hunter cat.
It's a mouser.
So they name it Satin, of course. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So that's Satin. And on some of their bottles of booze and things like that, they have a picture of a cat, and that's Satin, another little nod to the cat. But yeah, so 215 comes up in all these weird stories that I've heard of. People say this is the weird room. I don't know why exactly that room. There's obviously people that have had experiences all over, but even just looking on YouTube, a lot of people go to room 215. So some people have said that when they're sleeping in room 215, obviously it was a nursing home for older people. And if you've worked in elder care, you might know that if you're checking someone is alive, you grab their toe to see if they wake up, because it's kind of like a gentle way to wake somebody up. But people have talked about having their toes grabbed as they're sleeping in the middle of the night. So
oh my.
I'm only making a face. I used to have a friend who was a hospice nurse, and they actually also do it's like sternum rubs, where they go and they take their knuckles and rub up and down your sternum. Ow, it hurts, but it hurts real bad.
Well, I haven't heard any stories about that, but maybe that's but this is also, it's an older,
the toe sounds so much better, because
right?
the sternum stimulation really hurts. It doesn't feel good.
I was thinking of this like, hey, that might be pleasant to have the toes pulled a little bit or poked, but then the sternum, no way. No chance.
That's used in like more aggressive situations though. You don't just like walk up to a patient and do that, because it hurts.
Yeah, that would be not good.
I assume if you're checking if they're alive, I'm just gonna be a little aggressive about it.
Yeah.
Maybe just ask first.
Well,
don't go for
Frank,
the
you never know. It could just be a ghost with a foot fetish.
Why not?
Don't judge him.
Also true. Yeah.
I mean, I don't kink shame the ghost, I guess. But I would also say I didn't consent to that ghost. Stop being weird about this.
Would you rather he did the knuckle thing?
I mean, preferably not getting touched. Yeah. But once again, that goes back to the consent of it all.
We've talked about your ghost boundaries, yeah.
My ghost boundaries. My famous ghost boundaries. I'm so sorry.
Well,
I know, right? Jeez.
There's a recurring lore
fucking
on the
ghost
show
boundaries.
now. That's just
talk about ghost consent and fucking paranormal ghost boundaries.
I'm gonna call out Frank just a teeny bit. I'm not gonna go into the details of what we were talking about, but he asked me about how do you define enthusiasm, and
we did.
I sent a gif of a rabbit just smacking the ground, going yes, 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 yes. And I'm like, that's enthusiastic consent.
Yep.
So yeah,
that actually can confirm that did happen.
No, I'll show you the gif. Okay. It's pretty good. Yeah.
Don't show him the chat. Just show him the gif.
I'm not showing them the chat.
Thank you for that.
I was just trying to tie it back to our third Disney movie of the night. So.
Oh yeah, you can go. You can. I'm HR. It's okay. We'll talk about things in private. I'm just sharing a gif.
All right, great. Safe space. Team lead confidentiality. Sorry, Charlie. Go ahead.
Other people have reported other things. So there's a story. I have no corroboration for this, but there's a story of a sick child that had influenza or something like that, and a mother that was wailing over a child that was so sick. So people have commented about hearing this wailing child as they're in room 215 or elsewhere on the property, things like that. So I mean the brothers kind of knew all this history, and they're the McMenamins brothers, how do I describe them? They're a little kooky, they're a little out there. So especially with room 215, but the whole thing, they're kind of like, we need to cleanse this whole place. So before they even started any refurbishments or anything, they're like, okay, how do we do this? So they, in room 215 with the bloody pentagram on the floor, they got 5 bagpipe players to stand on the points of the pentagram, and they played Amazing Grace, as you do, to bless your hotel. So, and to all accounts, I mean, people still experience things, and maybe not, whatever. But on the picture of the door of room 215, which is now called the Amazing Grace room, there is a picture of the pentagram with the 5 bagpipe players, which I just think that's amazing. Where do you find 5 bagpipe players? Number one.
I'm thinking it might have just acted again. I don't think that purified the room. I think it might have become more evil.
Summon something.
Just aggravated him.
No. Oh,
Yeah, like I mean, it's bagpipes, you know.
Bagpipe. I cry hearing Amazing Grace on the bagpipes every time. It tickles my little Irish soul. Yes.
I suppose.
Because, okay, hold up. My mom's side's like 100% Irish. When you hear a bagpipe play Amazing Grace, you're at a funeral.
Okay, that's fair.
So I'm just like, oh, people have died. That's sad.
You're emotional. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
I got you.
And also, Charlie, do you not have a large Irish population out there? Because I feel like I could find 5 bagpipers quite easily.
Okay, I was kind of using hyperbole. I'm sure.
Oh, okay. I'm just checking.
I'm sure there is some kind of bagpipe corps. I know
We have
there
the
are in
Unipiper.
Seattle.
There's a bagpipe union right now
bands.
watching it like, fuck this guy, Charlie.
oh, of course, there's the Unipiper, who's a very famous bagpiper here in Portland. He
Unipiper?
rides a unicycle.
Frank.
Like
He
the
rides a
Unabomber?
unicycle.
No.
He rides
okay.
a unicycle and
Okay.
wears a Darth Vader costume and plays a flaming bagpipe because Portland.
Pretty cool.
He's so cool. I've actually met him. He's a nice guy.
You
Follow him on Instagram, Unipiper. Shout out.
you said bagpiper core, and like that's gonna be my new aesthetic. I don't know
Oh.
how I'm doing it, but it's gonna be my new aesthetic.
I meant CORPS, but
no.
I
No.
I know.
It's my new aesthetic
Okay.
now.
Bagpiper core. All tartan all the time. Is tartan different in Ireland and Scotland? I don't know.
I don't.
I thought it was Scotland.
Yes, it is different. Technically speaking, it's Scottish to have that. But like different families have different ones.
Right.
So it could be Irish as well. I'm not positive on that.
Interesting.
It doesn't help when my family's both Scottish and Irish and
Oh.
Welsh. And I've seen plenty of kilt at a wedding as well. And I
Yeah,
debated.
it's formal.
Joan, can I
Yes.
ask you a serious question? Does
Yeah.
your family, because of your ancestry, do you guys have a tartan pattern that's just for your family? Because that's like the coolest shit in the world that we don't do anywhere else in the world.
So like the side that would have it's very like mutt-like with everything mixed in like Europe. Like the only thing I'm not is like German and Italian, which is surprising living in New Jersey. And then my mom's side of the family were indentured servants. So we actually were very Americanized when we came over. So like I'm only 3rd generation.
Well, no, so a tartan
So,
pattern as
yeah.
in like a fabric
Yeah.
fabric design.
That's what I'm saying. Like if we did have that, we've been very Americanized
Oh, okay.
since
So
then.
you would have
so I
lost
wouldn't
touch
know.
with that.
Frank.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
My
Alrighty.
family does. Yeah.
Really? Can you send it to me? I love that type of stuff. I'm a fabric nerd. Believe it
I
or not.
can send it to you, Frank.
It's weird.
Interesting.
No, serious. I really am. That's how I know
you-
about that.
Men's sense and fabric.
Are you going to take her fabric, like, and
No,
say
I
you're
just
part
want
of her
to.
family?
I just want to see what it looks like. I actually started studying that because of the brand Barber, which is a UK brand. They have their signature tartan pattern that they put on their scarves and stuff on the inside of their coats and whatnot. And for a while, I kind of studied that. I fell down a rabbit hole of just looking into that type of stuff. And it turns out specific families will pass down a tartan fabric pattern throughout the generations, and it's really fucking great. It's really cool to me. And I think that if you're Scottish and you do play the bagpipes, like they'll make the kilt out of your family's tartan pattern, which is also really awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Literally no reason for me to know that outside of like I was just curious. Justin would like to call me the connoisseur of fine fabrics. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate it. I do appreciate a fine fabric, especially slubby denim.
You have to imagine while he's saying that, though, because I can just picture him. He's going like this, like pretending to rub the fabric while doing it.
We'll put
yeah.
a GIF of Justin doing that into the podcast and post.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's fine.
Sorry for derailing your show, Charlie.
No, you're
I'll
good.
just shut up now.
So, as the Edgefield farm was growing, they added more buildings. One of those was actually a add-on, an annex for the Multnomah County jail system. So there is still this old jail building, and lots of people, because it's still there and they use it for storage, and a lot of people talk about going in there and feeling very creeped out, and that's maybe possibly because there's just all this weird stuff in there. Again, if you know the McMenamins, they have a very weird eclectic style, so you can kind of imagine this. It's like going through an attic. It's very strange and spooky. But also, there's probably a lot of unmarked graves on the McMenamins or on the Edgefield property, so the whole place is kind of other. I don't know. It's got this feeling to it.
Ethereal.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So we talked about. Oh, did I talk about the? I talked about the woman and her child, but did I tell you that she sings nursery rhymes?
No.
So fun.
Midnight, most nights, according to this, they can hear nursery rhymes as she's trying to soothe her sick child, and the child had chickenpox, I guess.
Like Old MacDonald and stuff like that?
I don't know. It doesn't say.
Probably more messed up ones than Old MacDonald.
That's just the first one that came to mind, Joan.
Soothing, so I don't know. Old MacDonald's not very soothing. I don't think it's more exciting.
What would be soothing, Charlie? Can you tell me what would be soothing to you?
Rockabye Baby.
I guess I'll give that to you. I'll concede here. You win.
Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. But again, I don't know what nursery rhymes were 80 years ago.
Probably a lot of those Mother Goose ones.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her father 40 whacks. When she'd realized what she'd done, she gave her mother 41.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, relaxing.
She definitely was singing that to her sick child.
Yes.
On one stormy night, a guest reported to the management that she felt as if someone was watching her in her room. The manager promptly followed the woman back to her room where she did a thorough search. Just before the manager turned to leave the room, both she and the guest heard a voice say, "Get out." The woman felt so uncomfortable that she insisted on switching to a different room. The manager reported that he felt the hairs on the back of his neck stand up. Other guests report feeling ghostly hands pushing on their shoulders, back, and chest, oftentimes when they are ascending or descending stairs. Guests hear whispers, and when they turn around, there's no one there. One staff member who was helping a guest to the room felt a slight push on her back as she was coming down the stairs. She reported it was one of the scariest experiences in her life.
There is no ghost consent there. I can tell right away.
They're coming up and rubbing your chest with them.
I mean, part of me thinks that'd be a good time, but there needs to be consent also.
You're giving mixed messages. You don't want to touch ladies, but
I want
ladies to touch you.
I want the ghosts to touch me.
Okay.
But the ghosts, they can't be interested. They have to pretend like there's no interest. Yeah. That's how it's got to be. No eye contact. That's why it's beneficial that they're ghosts.
I'm not judging you, but I'm curious.
We'll take this conversation off air. Don't worry.
Okay.
Joan's like, okay, bye, gotta go. Click. Again, Charlie, I'm sorry.
No,
one more strike, I'm just gonna sign off.
Many reports are of an elderly woman who wakes guests in the middle of the night by tapping them on the shoulder. People often smell her flowery perfume just before she wakes them up. But staff say that she's a friendly ghost, but you just have to watch out for her temper, because if you leave your room, especially room 215, if you leave your room dirty, that'll upset her. She's like, you have to tidy up. So guests will leave the room and they'll just have their stuff wherever. They'll come back and their stuff's been thrown over the whole room, and sometimes out the window. So, she's not gonna.
I don't get her ghost logic.
She's not gonna clean out for you. She's not your mother.
No, clearly not. She's gonna make the situation worse.
But
also wake you up.
But apparently that's friendly.
I do think it's kind of interesting that they report smelling her perfume before she wakes them up. That's interesting to me.
Like,
there's a lot of ghost paranormal things that are associated with smell. Like sometimes if you have like an encounter with like a demonic entity, sometimes you'll smell like sulfur and stuff like that. Or ghosts actually do.
No, I am totally on board with that, 100%. But they smell it before she wakes them up.
Yeah, they're saying
they're
dreaming about it, or
what that says to me is if they are smelling something, it's so strong it's waking them up.
It's very
which
upsetting.
Is also upsetting to me. Like, I like a good strong smell of coffee, like when that wakes you up, or like bacon. That's nice. Florals are not my go-to. I'm not a big florals fan. So, but yeah.
Maybe you should have made the perfume on the property. Who knows?
Older lady perfumes are generally
Yeah.
floral or like powdery. Charlie, we gotta move this forward.
Anyway.
Yeah, anyway.
I'm just gonna cut all of that out in post. Don't worry.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I'm not gonna leave it in post. Are you kidding me?
No, you shouldn't.
gonna
But
cut
you can
that
leave out the corn stuff. It's fine.
We'll put that on the Patreon.
I'm sorry, Charlie.
No, you're fine. Please, we're stretching time here.
I'm gonna mute myself.
almost
Here we
done,
go.
So that's great. Other people report small children running down the hallway, which is very like, it's almost The Shining-esque, especially if you ever do come to Edgefield or look it up. It's a beautiful big hotel, and yeah, they're just running down the hallway in the middle of the night. They'll just hear thump, 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 thump. When guests approach the child or to scold him or ask where his parents are, he disappears into a thin mist. So, yeah, creepy kids.
I love a good creepy kid. Let me tell you. Good creepy kids.
Yeah, and again, so there was a mental facility for kids there, so who knows? Maybe these are crazy creepy kids.
If that's the case, it's offensive you're asking where are their parents.
Also true, yeah. I feel like
they disappear because they're like, I don't know either. Bye.
Yeah, I never knew.
Frank's making faces at me. Frank, they would drop them off. That's what being a ward of the state is. Okay. This is an audio podcast, Frank.
All right, fine. Do you think that if you die when you're a child, your ghost ages, or do you think you're perpetually like 10 years older whenever you pass?
Yeah, I think
Second
you
one?
stay
I think he
whatever
thinks
you
the
are when
second
you pass away.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. That's interesting. Because I mean, obviously in pop culture that's how it's presented, but I think like if you're dead, why don't you could just choose?
Think about it like this, Charlie. Okay, so like maybe you're non-corporeal, right? You don't have a body anymore, but you
Yeah.
have the experience of more years than when you died 3 years after your death, right? Like you would have gotten 3 more years of experience. So
Are you
wouldn't that
suggesting an Edward Cullen of it all?
I don't know what that is. Who is that?
Oh, Frank's not ready for the Twilight.
Oh,
watch
I
party in the
forgot
Discord.
about that.
Oh my
Yes.
God,
Oh, it's
no,
the
doing
Twilight
that.
guy.
It's going to be specifically for Frank. Every knowledge I drop will be like, Frank, listen.
It's that guy that sits down, he puts his fingers on the table and then sits down.
It is.
Yeah.
Franklin
Yeah, no,
Delano Roosevelt. How could you forget Edward Cullen?
We're
I've
doing
never
a watch
seen
party.
Twilight. I'm fucking sorry. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. We could do that.
I think it'll be fun.
We actually did a watch party with Late Night Legends. We watched the Ghostbusters Afterlife. It was on Patreon and nobody bought it. Sorry, Charlie.
Twilight. Well, yeah, go ahead.
So finally, as another way to kind of pay respect to people that live there and whatever, McMinimans has named a lot of these rooms after famous residents. Well, I say famous residents that we know of. One is Lucky Staley, who was an old guy who lived there right until it was closed down. And they there's a room named Lucky Staley. There's also downstairs what used to be the marketplace is now another bar they call Lucky Staley's Pool Hall. So people have talked about being at Lucky Staley's Pool Hall late at night and kind of having this feeling of a presence that's watching them play pool. So maybe, but they eventually opened up the 3rd floor. There's actually 3 floors, and they decided not to do that. All the rooms up there are just named after bands that have played at Edgefield, so not quite as cool. But you know, there's the Sheryl Crow room, the Paul McCartney room, that kind of thing. So
I shouldn't go there and suggest that they're also ghosts. Like, oh,
I want to stay in
Paul's
the Creed
been
room.
dead, so who knows?
Is there a Creed room? Because that's where I want to stay in that room.
I don't know if there's a Creed room, unfortunately. I did go to do research at Edgefield and also play golf and drink beer.
Oh, really?
But-
What was that? Tell us about that.
Well, it's a lovely place, and I can't recommend it highly. It's really, if anybody comes into town, into Portland, and you don't know what to do, take them to Edgefield because it's fun. There's stuff for everybody to do, kind of. Maybe not for kids, but it's absolutely beautiful. And
they can run the halls with the ghosties. What are you talking about?
And the house that used to house the unwell children, that's actually been turned into the Ruby's pool and spa. So they actually have a soaking pool, and a kind of massage area. It's a spa. So, hopefully those kids are feeling better about that. I don't know. The dead kids, I guess. But kids can swim in it, I should say. No.
Oh, okay. The dead ones. They can swim in it. The dead ones
and the live.
They won't drown. It's all good.
The house that housed unwed mothers and the women at risk kind of thing is now a glass blowing gallery and studio, and you can go and watch live glass blowing there.
As long as it's not a gentleman's club, that sounds much better, because I don't know with these people's sense of humor where we're going with some of these things.
No. They're all pretty. They paid respect. I don't think they're trying to be. I don't think they're trying to be mean about anything or trying to.
Charlie, you said they had 5 bagpipers.
Yeah.
Play
Amazing Grace to cleanse the spirits. Or something. Okay,
I have to look that up. I've never heard that being a cleansing ritual ever.
Yeah, so yeah, Mike and Brian are kind of they're deadheads and they're kind of hippy dippy, but they're also now extremely successful businessmen. So what are you gonna do?
No, I like it. It sounds real fun. I'm just saying I don't know where some of these jokes are going.
Oh,
so you're just like, ooh, oh, okay, it's okay.
Okay. Yeah, the building that used to house the power station that powered the whole building is now a bar called the Power Station. That's not different, but it's also a movie theater. It's got a one screen movie theater upstairs, which is kind of cool. And then it's absolutely beautiful. They've got a whole huge team of gardeners that takes care. They've got tons of orchards. They've kept a lot of this farmland or farm area as farmland, and they just keep producing fruit and things like that, and they turn it all into beer and cider and wine, essentially.
How many bars do they actually have on property?
I think 6.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot.
And then they've got like portable beer trucks that they pull out for the concerts, things like that. This huge I didn't even get to see the east side, which is this huge lawn, because that's where the concerts are. It's also part of the golf course. But they've got lots of statues kind of hidden out in the bushes kind of thing. Not hidden, they're just out in the garden for people to find. And yeah, it's very cool. I do highly recommend anybody going.
Let's all go.
Yeah, come on.
Team outing. Let's go.
Let's go.
Put
in that petty cash that we got there.
Send
us all out.
That's what I'm going to be doing. Anytime you make me do an episode, I'm just going to say, hey, here's another cool place in Portland that's slightly haunted.
Our sponsor, Sunbird's going to send us a lot of cash so we could all make it out there. We're going to make it work.
I wish they would. I would purely wear Scentbird and then ask the ghost if she would like to try different floral scents based on the profile she already has.
It's so cringe.
We're going to find the ghost scent.
I think you should. We could be like, hey, if you like this scent, maybe try this one.
We'll put a question up in the post-production because you can ask the audience a question. We'll say, what scent would a ghost wear? What fragrance do you see a ghost?
I think it depends on the ghost. I think it's a very personal scent.
I guess.
And those ghosts can find their own personal scent on Scentbird.
Fuck me. If Scentbird reaches out, I'm going to personally use my manager power to veto that sponsorship.
No.
Okay.
I like money, but integrity.
What do you mean? It's okay. Whatever. It's perfume. It's perfume.
I don't think they're gonna sponsor us.
No, not now. Not after you've been so mean to them.
So happy about it. Good.
Oh, it's okay.
What? We could do better for a sponsor.
I can't wait till we get the Scentbird sponsor and we'll specifically make Frank do the reading for it.
Can you imagine Frank having to be like,
I'll
sponsored by Scentbird?
Scentbird.
I'll do that thing where I talk through my teeth out of anger.
You get 5 unique scents every month for only $15.99.
Yep, that's it. I would do that. What is it, like $79
no
and they send you
idea
3 a month or something like
how
that? I
it
think I remember it
works. Let me
being like
look it
that.
up.
I don't remember him. Frank, Justin says Frank
I know,
actually
I
has
see
a
it.
side business making corn chip perfume, and he's
It's
mad
the
that
next
he's
big
not
thing, okay?
taking off.
It's the next big thing. It's gonna, you guys watch, okay? It's gonna go viral. Corn chip fragrance. Smell like your dog.
Okay. My dog's stinky. He's so stinky. I often smell my dog's feet and go, ew, stinky feet.
I do the same thing.
Can you record his reaction when you say that? I want to see
Doesn't
that.
react to it.
Oh, good.
The other best thing about my dog is he's so long. So when he curls
He's a
up,
long
he,
dog.
he's a pretty long dog.
Is
but
he a
like,
dachshund? Sorry.
No, it's okay. We think he's probably mixed with Basset. He looks like a normal dog but elongated. Because he's very short.
It's like a dachshund. All right, whatever.
So he forms a full bagel, and sometimes he has his nose full on in his butthole, and we're like, is that good for you, buddy? Do you like that?
When we go off air, remind me. I'm going to tell you a story about how I made my mom cry once.
Okay.
It's going to be great. Just we'll put a pin in it for now. Nobody in the audience needs to hear that story.
Do we need to hear that story?
I think you do.
Okay.
I fucking think you do.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Charlie's perfect.
I guess Frank decided
Hey.
we need to hear this.
Hey. Now you know.
Staff
Now,
meeting.
do you remember what you? Do you remember what it's like to podcast with me? If you didn't, you do now.
No, that was great.
Yeah.
And anyway, so that's Edgefield. That's the history of Edgefield, and
Oh, nice.
that we're done. Any final thoughts?
Oh, you want to jump right into final thoughts? Charlie's like, okay, let's get the fuck out of here.
No.
No, I just really want to hear this story, Frank.
All right, here's the story.
No, are we doing it on air?
I
No,
won't
we're
do it on
not
air.
doing it
No,
on air.
it's a bad story. It's not.
Okay.
I was a
Okay.
real asshole in that story, so I'm not gonna tell it.
Okay. My final thought is I really like the vibe of this place. Of course I like spooky stuff. That's why I'm here. But the thing I like even more than spooky is what I declare spoopy, which is very silly and scary at the same time.
Yeah.
So it feels like that's the vibe of this place. So I'm really into it. I hope those ghosts are also entertained by the things happening. I will say I'm going to call out the older lady ghost and go, your standards are a little weird that you're mean to guests that are paying, but you were fine with the pentagrams and the bird blood on the floor, and that didn't seem to be an issue for you.
We don't know if maybe that's why they did it.
It's not really cash money, Charlie.
I'm not blaming Charlie.
No, I'm just telling
Didn't do
Charlie
it.
that wasn't cash money of them to put that pentagram there.
No,
Totally.
and hail Satin, but I do like Satin. He's my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, I will try, and with the show notes, I'll try and get pictures of all this stuff so you guys can
Cool.
see it.
Who's got a
I
Charlie?
can go
Kay,
with
you got final
mine.
thoughts?
I just think it's really funny thinking about these two brothers. How should we cleanse this room? What if we brought in bagpipes and played Amazing Grace? That's totally gonna work. Didn't reach out to a priest, didn't reach out to anybody who has experience with cleansing rituals, bagpipes on the pentagram, Amazing Grace. Got it.
Do you think their logic was, what's the loudest fucking instrument that we can fit in this room? And their first was pipe organ. They went, no, that's too big.
Yeah, we can't
You
get
know
up
what-
the stairs. That's not
You know
gonna
what sounds awful? Bagpipes. That will scare any fucking ghost out of here.
Oh, that's incredible.
work. I mean, isn't that what fireworks were for, to scare away spirits and things
I
like
haven't
that?
heard that.
In certain
Maybe I
in
thought
certain
they just found
cultures.
something cool to do with gunpowder, but you might be right, Charlie. I don't
Hey,
disagree
it can,
with
it
you.
can be both. It can be both.
Yeah.
Charlie, I'm
Yeah.
going to put that under both for you.
Okay.
Charlie, did you give final thoughts already?
Oh well, my final thought is I don't know. This place is one is really cool, and I when I was working for the company, I got a tour, and so that's where I heard a lot of these stories. And it's very cool that this company. This is about the coolest thing they do, which is they try and preserve this history. They have a whole history department that comes in and interviews all these people. And, so it's cool that we have this piece of history that otherwise could have just been bulldozed and turned into, condos or something. So, yeah.
All right. Well, my final thought is let's go. Team lead outing. We'll pay for it with petty cash. We all know there's a lot of that. And yeah, I think that it's a great location. I would really like to actually visit it someday. No bullcrap. And I want to thank you, Charlie, for doing this particular topic. It was really awesome. I think you did amazingly for your first topic. It seems like you would have already done one, but I don't know. I think it's just because you contribute.
I've gotten out of it every time.
Your contributions have been so significant that it seems like you've already done a topic. So I'll say that, which is a good compliment. Hopefully you
thank
take
you.
that as a good compliment.
I felt a little disorganized as my first time doing it. So
No, you did great.
You did awesome.
So to our audience, thank you for tuning in this week. Next week, we're taking the week off for Labor Day. So we'll see you in 2 weeks for another live show. We're going to have our legends all back. We're going to be coming back full energy, full force, with ghost consent. And until then, say hi to your moms for me, Joan. Remember, you're like, oh, Frank says something about moms. I say hi to your mom for me.
Oh, okay.
And y'all have a good night. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for telling a friend. Thank you for, listening to this on your way to on your way to work and during your walk and during your workout. And we'll see
Maybe
y'all.
listen with headphones though, every single time.
No, they need to listen.
blast it on the
You know what I want? I want us to have a listener who has one of those big Bluetooth boombox type of things, and they play it at full volume with the walk down the street. That's what I want.
Oh.
If you send me a video of you doing that, I will send you $50 out of my pocket.
They're gonna ask if they're listening to like a cooking show. They're like, they mentioned corn a lot.
Well, whatever.
Ooh,
You want $50 of my personal money? Send us a video of you actually listening to this podcast on a Bluetooth boombox.
Charlie, there was a ghost cooking show. It was a Netflix special with like Christina something, and she did like arts and crafts with different cooking things, and she is like gorgeous.
Wait,
and funny
Christina
enough,
Tosi?
maybe I have to look it up. But
Christina Tosi.
my friend actually ended up seeing her while working at TJ Maxx. Like she walked into a TJ Maxx. So I have to say. Okay. Anyway, yeah, that's something else.
Good night, everybody. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.